Outbreak Perfected paired with Prismatic makes for a devastating build, especially when we bring out our stasis and our solar abilities. So we're going to have near infinite grenades, plus we're going to be really hard to kill through Devour, and we're going to be constantly dealing damage through our solar ignitions, strand melee attacks, and SIVA nanite swarms. Well, today I'm going to walk through this Warlock build, explain why it's one of the best endgame Warlock builds in the game right now, plus also show you some gameplay in Destiny 2. Well, if you like the video, then subscribe for more Destiny 2 content, plus also turn on notifications to never miss an update from Endgame Express, and stick around to the end of the video for an exclusive offer to channel members. Okay, first of all, why this build is good and why you should create it for yourself. So this build is all about combining solar and stasis abilities, helping us control the battlefield as well as increasing our damage output. This one is not only super easy to put together, it combines Prismatic and Outbreak Perfected. We're going to be taking advantage of our SIVA nanites from Outbreak Perfected, and that is where the weapon creates SIVA nanite swarms on rapid hits and also precision kills, and that is going to work into our build nicely as well. Plus also, it does more damage to enemies based on the number of SIVA nanites that attach to them. Therefore, this is going to be great in nightfalls, dungeons, raids, and other endgame content. Okay, let's put this build together. So first of all, the exotic armor, and this is the osmiomancy gloves. So these are exotic Warlock gauntlets, and they come with the perk Fervid Cold Snap. So your Cold Snap grenades have an additional charge that recharges quicker on direct impact, and the Seeker spawn from Cold Snap travels further. So basically, when you throw your grenades, you want to try and hit an enemy. That is really going to help you out. You could get an exotic class item with the osmiomancy perk on it. I reckon the original gloves are much better. So to get these gloves, you want to speak to Master Rahul in the tower. You want to rank up to level 16 and make sure you reset that rank once, and then you're going to be able to choose those osmiomancy gloves. Okay, next up, let's have a look at the subclass, and it is of course Prismatic. So if my super, using Song of Flame, so make your equipped weapons radiant and enhance your abilities. While in your super, you release a supercharged melee attack that launches additional projectiles, and the grenade creates a sentient flame wisp that seeks out targets and detonates in a scorching explosion. For my melee attack, I'm using Arcane Needle, so you sling a woven needle that embed in your target, unraveling them, and you're going to spread the unravel debuff all around the battlefield. You activate your melee ability again to chain up to 2 additional attacks. For my grenade, I'm using the Cold Snap grenade. This is going to go really well with the osmiomancy gloves. This grenade is where you freeze on impact, and it also sends another Seeker to find and freeze a target, helping you control the battlefield. We've got another grenade in our Transcendent state as well. That is our Transcendent grenade. So throw a mass of void and stasis matter. On impact, it deploys a miniature black hole orbited by a slowing field. After a short duration, the black hole implodes, suppressing and dealing heavy damage to all nearby targets. Also, it weakens targets too. I'm also using Phoenix Dive, my class ability, so you dive to the ground and create a solar light that cures nearby allies. And I'm going to pair that with my first aspect, and that is going to be Hellion. So you activate your class ability to summon a solar mortar that lobs flaming projectiles at distant targets, and targets damaged by the mortar are scorched. And that's scorch stacks. They're going to build up and eventually go off in ignition explosions, dealing extra damage to your enemies. I'm pairing Hellion, the first aspect, with our second aspect. That is going to be Feed the Void. So you defeat a target with any ability to activate Devour. And this gives us back a good amount of health, plus also a chunk of grenade energy as well. That is going to keep you topped up with grenades. That is going to be really useful with our exotic armor, and also our stasis grenades as well. Next up, for my fragments, I'm using Facet of Ruin. So this one increases the size and the damage of the burst when you shatter a stasis crystal or frozen target, and also increase the area of effect with solar ignitions. So this goes really well with our Cold Snap grenade, plus we get that extra charge with our exotic armor, the osmiomancy gloves. Solar ignitions are also coming from our Hellion aspect for that extra damage boost. Next up, using Facet of Courage, so Arc, Solar and Void abilities deal more damage to targets affected by a Darkness debuff. So our darkness debuff is going to be stasis, given we're going to be throwing cold snap grenades constantly, and that is going to boost the damage of our solar output through the Hellion aspect. Next up, facet of protection. So this one is all about staying alive in endgame content, so while surrounded by combatants, you're more resistant to incoming damage, and while you're transcendent, this effect is increased. Next up, the facet of solitude. So landing rapid precision hits emits a severing blast from the target. This is going to pair really well with Outbreak Perfected, and also while you're transcendent, the blast is bigger. And finally, facet of dominance. So your void grenades weaken targets and your arc grenades jolt targets, and that is going to help us boost our grenades, especially our transcendent grenade. That is going to really help us out. Next up, for the weapons in my primary slot, this one is the star of the build. It's the Outbreak Perfected, so it's a fantastic kinetic exotic pulse rifle, and mainly down to the perks. So we've got, first of all, the corruption spreads. So the weapon creates SIVA nanite swarms on rapid hits and precision kills, and parasitism. So the weapon does more damage to enemies based on the number of SIVA nanites that attach to them. So the one thing you're going to notice with Outbreak Perfected is the speed that this thing fires at. It's very fast, very effective, and very efficient at killing enemies. So the main perks are great for DPS by creating the SIVA nanite swarms that attach to enemies. You can literally tear through enemies in nightfalls, in raids. It's going to really help you out. You can pick this one up from the 0 hour exotic mission, and you can find that in the Legends tab. Next up, in the energy slot, I'm using Aberrant Action. So this one is a legendary energy sidearm with a rocket-assisted frame, meaning the sidearm has a self-propelled rocket ammunition, and this one is really good with Incandescent. That's going to help you with your solar ability. It's going to scorch enemies, going to build up those ignitions and those solar explosions. So an incandescent weapon I think is really good, and this sidearm is one of the best in the game right now. It was added to the game as part of Destiny 2 Episode 1 Echoes, and that means you can play Breach executable or other Echoes activities to get this weapon. In the heavy slot, I'm using Pro Memoria. So this one is a heavy machine gun. It's a pale heart weapon, and it activates something called Dealer's Choice. That is the origin trait, where final blows of the weapon grant a small amount of super energy. That's going to help us top up our super energy and going to be really effective on the battlefield. Next up, for the armor mods on the head, I'm using Kinetic Siphon. So rapid kinetic weapon final blows create an orb of power, and we're going to be doing that all the time with Outbreak Perfected. Next up, for the arms, bolstering detonation, so you grant class ability energy when you cause damage with a grenade, and also focusing strike, so you grant class ability energy when you cause damage with a powered melee attack. We're going to be throwing grenades and melee attacks almost constantly. This is going to give us back our class ability, and with that class ability, that is going to fire at Hellion, increasing our solar output. For the chest, I'm using Solar Arc and Void Resistance, but you can swap those out for whatever you like. On my legs, I'm using the Kinetic Weapon Surge, so your kinetic weapon gains a small bonus to damage while you've got an armor charge, and your armor charge now decays over time. Also, Insulation, so it reduces class ability cooldown each time you pick up an Orb of Power. You are going to be generating Orbs of Power all the time through Kinetic Siphon, so that is really going to help you out. It's going to work really nicely together. On the class item then, I'm using Time Dilation, so your decaying armor charge has a longer duration, and that is going to be really good for your Kinetic Weapon Surge, increasing the damage output of Outbreak Perfected. And finally, Reaper, so shortly after using your class ability, your next weapon final blow spawns an Orb of Power. Again, we want to be creating Orbs of Power, so we can pick up the Orbs of Power and get the armor charge, and that is going to help us with the Kinetic Weapon Surge. So for the artifact mods, I recommend Radiant Orbs. So picking up an Orb of Power makes you Radiant, that's going to help. Galvanic Armor, that is going to protect you with your Prismatic subclass equipped. And also Solar Fulmination, so your ignitions do increase damage and have an increased radius. Finally then, let's have a look at the gameplay loop in a little bit more detail. So we're going to have great crowd control with this build, given we're throwing out cold snap grenades. So combine that with our exotic armor, Osmiomancy gloves. That's going to give us a second grenade, plus also seeking stasis abilities, so it's going to freeze your enemies. Shatter is going to do damage. We're going to be also beefing up our solar damage with Hellion through our aspect, and the stasis and the solar output is boosted through Facet of Ruin, which increases the size and the damage of the burst when you shatter a crystal or a frozen target, and also increases the area of effect of solar ignitions. As well as solar and stasis, we've got strand through our melee ability, meaning we're going to be spreading the unravel debuff all around the battlefield. That means we can finish off enemies quickly and easily with Outbreak Perfected, creating those SIVA nanite swarms for even more damage. Now we can boost this with aberrant action, especially if you've got incandescent, for more scorch and ultimately ignition solar explosions on enemies. Now our melee damage is going to help us feed our grenades, plus we got Feed the Void too, and Osmiomancy gloves, meaning we're going to have nearly constant grenades, freezing everything all around us, being helpful to our fire team, and restricting the movement of the enemies, making them easier to kill for everyone. So whether you're in a team or you're doing activities solo, this is going to be really, really good for you. So let me know in the comments what you think of the build, share your improvements in the comments, plus also let me know what your Warlock builds are out there. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that is it for this guide for the Prismatic Perfected Warlock build in Destiny 2, and as always, thank you so much for watching or for listening. Don't forget you can hit that subscribe button down below for even more Destiny 2 content here on Endgame Express. You can also like the video and share the video too. That would help us out here on the channel. Well, thanks again, and I'll see you soon. Well, thank you for watching that video, and today I'd like to talk about Endgame Express Backstage, the home of exclusive content for fans of Endgame Express. To join, simply join up through Patreon or the YouTube membership. You get early access and exclusive content, shout-outs in the videos, access to live streams, plus also access to our exclusive Endgame Express Backstage community Discord. Well, here's some more information about the tiers. So in Tier 1, that is $2.99 a month, you get access to our community Discord and also early access to content. In Tier 2, that is $4.99 and you get shoutouts in the credits of videos, and also you get access to community polls and help shape the content. For Tier 3, that is $8.99 and you'll get access to exclusive community videos and also get access to exclusive live streams as well. Well, the core content on Endgame Express is always going to be free, but if you want to go above and beyond and support Endgame Express, then all you need to do is get access to Endgame Express Backstage today through Patreon or YouTube membership. You know, Endgame Express is a one-man band right now, but I would love to expand into more games, podcasts, more channels, but to do that, I'm going to need your help to make this sustainable, and in return, I offer you some exclusive benefits and backstage-only content. Well, if you enjoy Endgame Express, then consider Endgame Express Backstage today. You can hit that membership button right down below, or you can find us on the Patreon links, and you'll find those links in the description. Well, thank you for listening, and thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you very soon.